Welcome to Ground Up Growth, where we share entrepreneurial insights, business strategies, and personal growth lessons to help listeners build success from the ground up.
Welcome back to Ground Up Growth. Today we have a guest, Mr. Jake Manning. Jake is the owner of Mississippi Smart Homes here in Ridgeland.
Yeah, that's we're right off of Jackson Street.
Jake, thank you so much for coming on. We've got co-host Hannah Pittman.
Hi.
Hi.
Good morning.
I'm still a little bit under the weather, but we're going to plow through it.
Yeah.
So,
Hopefully by the time this episode comes out, you'll feel better. But since we record them back to back,
yeah.
last guest they listened to, Paul's a little under the weather. This one he is too.
I feel like I have an air compressor in my head
You're
right
not
now.
about to infect me, are
So
you?
everyone-
You're probably going to leave here
It's your
with
party
something.
gift,
Yeah.
a summer crush.
Everybody
Paul.
that comes to the
Thanks for coming
podcast
on the
leaves
pod.
with something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's my gift to you. So, Jake, thank you so much for coming on, man. This is exciting. I'm very interested to learn about what all y'all do. But
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about how old you are, where you from. We've had your
Sure.
brother John Manning on in a previous episode. So,
Yeah, John, I say all the time he's 2.5 years older than me, but he's a decade ahead of me in life. So I'm 29. I'm from Ridgeland. Went to Jackson Academy and then to Mississippi State. A huge part of smart homes existing is COVID. I started with a biomedical engineering degree because my dad's a private practice doctor. Thought I was
all right, hang on back up.
Really?
Yeah.
Hang on back up. Did you have a job growing up?
Work for my dad, so.
Didn't John do that too?
Yeah, they did. John got the short end of the stick, being the older brother. The first summer of 16, you're gonna have a job. I think literally his job was making rocks smaller rocks. Like he was making gravel with a sledgehammer. So I was terrified of summer jobs. Luckily, by the time it got to me, they were like, "Hey, you can sit in the office and file some H&Ps and things like that." So I worked at the clinic growing up, thought that I would go to med school, be a doctor. And then my private practice father sits me down junior year of college at Christmas and goes, "Hey, buddy, I think it'd be disingenuous to let you ride my coattails. You need to be your own man. And I'm going to sell the private practice, and medicine's terrible, and it's only getting worse. And if I knew what I knew about business, there's no way that I would have gone into medicine." I said, "Okay, well,
Wow.
that's fair."
That's a pretty big.
Yeah, I mean,
kudos to him.
could have told me that freshman year, though. I mean, we're already through bioinstrumentation. We're through all the hard
Oh
stuff.
my gosh.
And luckily, the good Lord was looking out for me, and I went to swap to software engineering. Always a little bit
So
of a
you're
computer
smart.
nerd. Yeah, I'm a nerd.
I
I'm a
mean-
nerd for sure.
I know Mississippi Smart Homes, but I mean, I'm feeling like a
Yeah.
4.2 GPA
Yeah,
or something.
yeah. We had one semester that was a little rough, 2.7, but we bounced back.
you go.
You had to have one good,
Found your boundaries.
good fun, find the line. But my college advisor was married to the software engineering advisor. So when I told her that I wanted to transfer, she said, "Why don't you just be a man? You're going to be a fifth year anyway. Just go ahead and commit to getting both." I said, "Respectfully, that sounds absolutely terrible. No, thank you." And she said, "Well, my husband's a software engineering advisor, and we could maybe collude to your benefit." I said, "Oh, okay, well, if
And
that's
where's
the case."
it? This is at State?
This is Mississippi State.
Okay.
And so, they put it on paper. I said, "All right, that's not too bad." And then
And what did that look like? Like how much?
There was
more-
one semester was gruesome.
Yeah.
The thing that really makes engineering tough is that there's a bunch of non-credit producing labs. So technically I was in 24 hours, but then there's 3 non-credit producing labs. So I'm in 31 hours for 2 semesters back to back. That was pretty gruesome, junior year. But then after that, most of the classes, you kind of share the same tool belt. So it's the fundamental classes aren't too bad. It's the upper level classes. But to make things worse, I was student body president in my last year, my 5th year at Mississippi State. And that's one of the coolest experiences. People don't realize that in Mississippi, the student body president votes on the board. It's part of the charter for the school. It's not up for debate.
Oh, cool.
And so you are literally a voting board member of a $1.4 billion a year business, and there's 7 people on the board.
Wow.
And so, like, yeah, you're going to do executive council, and the dean of engineering is waiting for me at the elevator. Hey, buddy, how you doing? You know, that grant's coming up, and
Right.
I know you're going to do what's best for the students,
Right.
but you being an engineer and having 2 degrees, you know how bad our needs are. And you're
Yeah.
like, all right, dude.
Right. Lobbying.
But that really became a problem when COVID. Once in a lifetime, literal generational opportunity to see crisis management at that scale, but it just became all consuming. Like, we had a crisis action team meeting the Thursday before spring break. Like, hey, there's some reporting going on. We think it's going to be something like swine flu, some hand sanitizer, some masks, whatever.
So, all right. So 2020, you're
I'm a
junior,
fifth year.
or
I'm a fifth year
Fifth
senior
year.
in my
Okay.
victory lap.
So you're, what is that, 21, 20?
I'm 22 at that time. And
Did you know what you wanted to do?
no. And that's why this is relevant.
And your
like-
dad gave you the curveball when you were a junior,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. So I
So
swapped
junior to
to
fifth
software
year.
engineering, thinking I'm going to do something techie, but I don't know
That's what I was
what.
gonna ask. Frame us up between dad saying you're not coming this way and COVID. Did you have, or were you confused? Where were your interests?
I thought at the time with the
Were you
biomedical degree.
entrepreneurial?
That wasn't in my mind at
Yeah.
the time. I was thinking that I was probably going to do software for biomedical implants, which seems like probably a lucrative and pretty niche thing. That's what I had in my mind.
Yeah.
And then COVID really did just throw a wrench in all of that because, we think China virus is going to be like swine flu. And then 3 days later, Dr. Keenum calls me and he's like, hey, did you go anywhere on spring break? And I'm like, no, sir. And he's like, you still in Starkville? Yes, sir. He's like, you need to get up here. And I walk in and legal counsel is like halfway through talking about whether or not, because the university's public land, can we let them on campus? Can we tell them not to be on campus? I was like, what in the world has happened? And from then on, it was just cannonball run. Like, what do we do about freshmen? What do we do about graduation and international students and scholarships and meal plans, and just didn't look up. I mean, most of my finals, I didn't even take them. Like, Dr. Keenum just wrote up a letter and was like, hey, he's busy. Like, legitimately, it was that bad.
I
And
bet.
Yeah.
But what a cool opportunity
No,
for
it
you to
really- it
be-
was.
Yeah, to hear those conversations.
just to
like,
see how the world works, and that's a huge part of what gave me the confidence, that experience, public speaking,
Yeah.
making decisions on that scale, really gave me some confidence in going
Right.
in it for myself. But it all came together with me graduating, and then, like, it's a position of termed power, so, like, I'm really busy, then it's over. And I'm sitting at home and I'm gainfully unemployed, living in my parents' house in the middle of a global pandemic with 2 engineering degrees and a bunch of job offers. But who knew? Like, are they going to lay a bunch of people off?
Right.
I mean, if I go take an engineering job in Dallas, are they going to let me touch grass? Or
Right.
am I going to be locked in an apartment living by myself looking at some CAD drawings all day, which sounded remarkably depressing? And I was thinking about finding something. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
literally
like, you
that was
had to
my
sign a
concern.
lease in Dallas on an
Sign a
apartment.
lease on a job that may get laid off because
Right.
the economy's kind of on fire at the time, and maybe be stuck in an apartment just like behind a computer screen. And that had happened to some of my buddies, particularly accountants working for like some of the big 4 firms. They were in big cities, and they were 1 year on the job, and then they just went entirely remote. And I can't think of anything less fun than being locked in an apartment, living by myself, not being able to do social activities, and just working on accounting behind a screen all day with a couple Zoom calls in between.
Yeah, that's not ideal.
So looking to avoid that, I was
Yeah.
thinking, what am I going to do? I was thinking about law school for a bit, took the LSAT, did all right. Was thinking maybe I'll find
wish I
something to
wasn't
do.
Smart that I could just.
Well, it's a useful skill up until you get out of school.
Yeah.
Being a great test taker, I was like, man, this is awesome. And then you graduate and you're like, well, this isn't useful
Right. Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Real world doesn't have tests.
That's like my brother. He's an aerospace engineer, works for NASA, and it's like he ain't really got a whole lot of options.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's only so many places.
You're working at NASA or
Yeah.
Yeah, the military industrial complex. Yeah, doing something. But then I went to go eat at a Nuke's with one of my buddies from prep, Peyton Parker. He was a buddy of mine at Mississippi State, and he was going to med school, and we were just talking. I said, man, should I just go to med school? Like, I got all my prereqs. It's a very unstable time. Feels like medicine's a safe thing to spec into in the middle of a global pandemic. And he said, no, I mean, you'd hate it. You already made up your mind. You're not going to do that. You don't need to just go do that because it, quote, feels safe.
Right.
You know, you'll just resent it. But if somebody was sort of smart home business, they'd do great. And I said, well, you know, hell, I got 2 engineering degrees. I live at home and I don't have a job.
Where did he come up with the smart home? He just
Yeah, we were just sitting there talking for a long time. Just
How
spent
did
like
your
2 or 3 hours.
How's your dad come into play here? Because I feel like with John's story too, like y'all's dad was very instrumental
Oh, no question.
in just pumping, just like pushing y'all to
Yeah.
be entrepreneurial and those things. So
I mean-
so he dropped the ball or dropped the bomb on you junior year. When you're in this part right here, so you're graduated, you're overqualified, in the pandemic. What was he saying during that time? Was he giving you any advice, or was he just letting you figure it out?
Yeah, he's pretty hands off. So he was, just waiting to see what happened, and then took that conversation, went and put some thought behind it, and said, I think I want to do this. And so I went to my dad and said, hey,
Did you have it? I keep cutting you off.
No, please.
So you're interested in? I'm trying to unpack this thing. So the smart home and the techie side of things, did you have any interest or passion in techie stuff when you were, like, say, in high school? Were you like shredding computers and rebuilding them and stuff?
Yeah, there's actually
that was laying down there at the bottom.
There's a truly legendary story there that if I can pivot, I think that people would enjoy.
He's like, I built the first autonomous tractor.
Well, so my dad is a great dad. He has always been pushing us. We're real Mannings from Drew. I tell people all the time, I got none of the height, every bit of the forehead, but we are in fact related to the Mannings. And he would always tell us, I didn't have 2 boys to pay somebody to do this. That I was raised on a cotton farm. We're going to teach y'all how to work.
Yeah.
And part of that, and then I'll tie back in. Part of that was one of my jobs every summer was planting these trees, watering these trees. And this sounds like the simple task, but we're on like 5 acres. There's like 100 cypress trees. They're hundreds of yards from the house. It's a lot of hose. It's a bad deal. So 16, doing football, summer job, playing video games. My dad comes home and goes, did you water those plants today? I said, oh, no, sir, I forgot to do that. I'll go do that right now. He said, if you do that again, I'm going to throw that computer in the lake. Well, something to know about my dad. I knew he meant that when he said that. There was no question. People were like, oh, well, I understand that you thought he was just. No, I did not. I knew he meant that. And so all summer, I'm real good about watering the plants until it rains like it ain't rained since Noah. I mean, it rains like 3 or 4 days straight. Ground's sopping wet. Dad comes in one day and he goes, you water those plants today? And I was like, well, no, it rained. He's like, what about the ferns on the front porch? I was like, well, I guess I didn't go do those. And he goes, unplug it. Mid-game with the fellas. Fellas are like, what's going on? I'm like, hey, guys, I got to go.
Forgot to water the ferns.
Yeah. So I unplug it. I walk out there in the living room and he's like, sit right here. He goes, and he leaves me in the living room to agonize for like an hour. And I'm sitting there. If you don't know, it sounds impressive, but building a computer is really plug in like 8 parts together. And so I'm sitting there thinking like, I could pop all the parts out and hide this really quickly. But if he walks in and I'm midway doing that, I might die here. And so I sit there for like an hour and 10 minutes just waiting. And I find out later in life that he's like going back there, calling my mom, being like, hey, I didn't think he was this dumb, but I said it. I got to do it. Just letting you know, you're going to come home to a nuclear fallout. Yeah, it's going to be bad. So finally he comes out and he says, all right, pick it up. We're walking to the lake. I've had an hour. I can talk. In
your mind, you're like, dude, I could have shredded this thing. I could have put it in the pantry.
So I'm working. We're walking down there and I'm going, hey, man, I mean, it's worth a lot of money. let's sell it, put it into a college fund. He's like, no. I'm like, okay, maybe it's about me benefiting. What if I give it to my friends? No. I was like, what? It's just wasteful. We could give it away for Christmas to
Yeah.
family in need. Like, don't do
Somebody
this.
that needs it more than the
Yeah.
lake.
That's when he said, stop talking. Okay. We get down there to the water, and it's like, here you go. And he goes, oh, no, I want you to do it. So I'm mad. I'm a worked up 16-year-old. I'll get it on my shoulder. I'm like all the way back.
Shot put.
And I go to just throw this thing as far as I could, shot put style. And right as I'm about to throw it, he goes, stop. And immediately, the first thing I thought was Abraham in the Bible. Oh my God, he just wanted to see if I do it.
Yeah.
I start going like immediately. I'm like, oh, it's like Abraham. You were just in Isaac. And he was like, what the hell are you talking about? No, I don't want you to throw it. I want you to drop it right there where it's shallow so you can see it and remember consequences. And I was like, oh, so it's not like a biblical story. No, we're really doing this. So we really did this. Dropped the computer down in the lake. Yeah, it immediately became a legendary story at JA because the next morning at football weights, our coach is like, I'm talking to my friends, and our coach hears it and is like, oh, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. So then he has me tell it as a sophomore to the entire football team, like the next morning. So Mike was always a very fire brimstone, hands off unless you give me a reason not to be.
Yeah.
And so we were trained to work. We knew we were going to work. And him going from working in the hospital to private practice is hands down the number one reason that John and I are both self-employed. I mean, he just did not like the hospital. I mean, he did a high-paying job, to earn a salary, and he just hated it. He didn't enjoy the work. He didn't enjoy the terms. Like, wasn't something that replenished his cup. And the difference in him as just a father in working for the money versus doing something that he enjoyed doing and something that he can control was night and day. And I mean, we all saw that.
Yeah.
And obviously he saw that in himself and understood I enjoy my life a lot more doing this. And so he was
huge.
he was always very supportive of go start your own thing.
Wow.
And that I would say that transition in my dad going from working in the hospital to private practice was definitely what seeded it for John and I both. And so that's then when.
So he planted the seed. So whenever you were there at Duke's having that conversation and your dad wasn't on your case about it, he already planted the seed.
Yeah.
I mean, he knew that you were smart enough that you were going to think back to that computer. And
when I went back to him and said, hey, I know I'm unemployed and I live in your house and it's a global pandemic, but what if you gave me a little startup loan and I stayed in your house for another 18 months and started a business? His response was, what are you, scared? Like, you're not married, you don't have kids. If you screw it up, you'll be clean by 30. I mean, what are we doing?
right.
Have you already started? Go start. Yeah. So he was very supportive in getting us going. But that's hands down the most difficult thing in starting smart homes has been really nobody does what we do. Like there are some other low voltage people, there are some other technology people, but nobody really offers what we offer. And so pretty much 100% of what I know how to do, like I can learn, and they taught me how to problem solve as an engineer, but they didn't teach me smart home technology, what's good, what's bad, how to set it up. And
Frame up smart home
yeah,
for the listener. Like
So-
what, just kind of,
yeah, it's
Tell
one
us
of the
what you do.
things that's confusing to people, or they don't necessarily know what all we mean. And day by day, smart home continues to grow, like what all that includes.
Yeah.
But generally, the shorthand way that we tell people is everything IT under a roof, residential or commercial, new construction or retrofit. I mean, that's from Wi-Fi to security to TVs to audio visual to, we're talking about commercial conference rooms, access control, networking systems, pretty much one-stop shop for everything that we do. And that is definitely the hardest part. It's why I tell my team all the time, nobody else is crazy enough to do what we do. in trying to guarantee quotes for this large of a scope of work. You know, most people are just an alarm company, or they're just a networking company, or they're just an audio visual company. And so what they need to train their techs on, what tools they need, the amount of equipment that they need to keep in the vans is way less than what we have to deal with. But that's our goal at Mississippi Smart Homes, is really a white glove experience with a one-stop shop. You know, you're not having to call 2 or 3 different people. You're not having to coordinate between your security guy and your networking guy. The casual way I say it is everything's always our fault. You know, that's the situation that we want you to be in as the customer. We don't want pass the buck Chuck, or like, oh, you know what you need to do is, the reason your camera's offline is your internet's bad.
Right,
you need to go ahead and call C Spire.
Right.
Like, for our clients, if somebody needs to call C Spire, we do that on their behalf. If there's a conversation that needs to happen, we have it. If they're sending a tech out, we're going to meet the C Spire tech at your home, so you don't need to. And trying to offer a complete white glove, one-stop shop experience where you're not having to talk to a bunch of vendors, you're not having to coordinate between multiple things, and
About stuff that people don't probably know about.
And that's the number one reason that we have a showroom, is we've seen that people just don't know. They have an idea, but particularly when I started in 2020, smart home was a pretty foreign concept.
Right.
And we've come a long way. I mean, COVID, frankly, did us a massive benefit in people being in their homes all the time, thinking like working from home is so important. I really need good internet. I would like, you know, I'm here all the time. I prefer to have cameras, and that kind of being boxed inside all the time experience.
Springboarded, y'all.
Yeah, kind of did springboard us. That, and in retrospect, I've been able to see a lot of people were a remodel boom. You know, the rates were going up,
Right.
the supply was going down, and a lot of people said, so look, we're not about to go get a new house. But what we will do is take $20,000 or $30,000 and spruce the place up a bit. You know, we're going to be here another 2 or 3 years. And there was definitely a remodeling boom for a bit, and that we definitely caught part of that wind. So that's the long-winded way of saying all things IT under a roof. I mean, our bread and butter, fixing internet, security, TVs, and sound systems. But then I tell clients, you know, if you want a smart toaster, they make it. Probably the funniest thing that we've added to our product line recently is a smart doggy door. We keep getting requests about this. We installed a couple, and so finally we added it into the product line, where
What does a smart doggy door do?
it only opens for their collar. So it's like a little mag lock doggy door, and their collar is like the key card. So
So,
a
like,
raccoon couldn't
raccoons
crawl
couldn't get
through, a
in.
person couldn't crawl through.
I'm getting a doggy door put in right now.
It's
But it
only
ain't-
like
it ain't
$1,000,
smart.
man. It's so
That ain't
cheap.
bad.
If you
Dog
think,
was 600, so it can run, it can run off.
but that's the truth is, there's a smart something for everything.
Yeah.
The number one way that we try and distinguish ourselves from people that do similar work is we see it all the time. I mean, truly, people end up with a tank when what they're looking for is a car. And they don't, and it's because they don't know. The IT guy says, you need this, you've got to have this. And they say,
Upsell.
okay. And they're taking advantage of these people's ignorance. And we see it literally all the time in Bridgewater and Eastover and Lost Rabbit and Reunion. I mean, people that have $40,000, $50,000 systems that they never even turn on because it's such a pain. It doesn't work half the time. There's 3 or 4 different
Convoluted,
remotes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, realistically, they'll turn on their whole home audio system like once or twice a year for like the Christmas party and maybe like a birthday or something. Rather than what we do is easy to use, and like every time I cook dinner, I'm listening to music or I'm taking the TV because it's easy to
I
use.
bet your home is just,
Yeah, it's pretty.
I bet
Because
it's
before we got a
it's
showroom, my
lit up.
home was the showroom. So
Really?
yeah, I would all the time. Clients would say, "Well, I want to see it," and I'd be like, "Well, I guess you can like come over today at like 5:30 and take a look at all of the stuff." So
Yeah.
The main thing that we do try and distinguish though is not selling people stuff that they don't need. I mean, I tell clients
That's gonna go a
there
long,
might
that's
be
gonna
a
go a
smart
very long way for y'all.
there might be a smart toaster, there might be a smart doggy door, but the truth is if you're not going to use it every day, don't get it.
I tell
And
you what, like in my line in real estate, if I'm showing you houses and I tell you I don't think you need to buy this because of XYZ, you're gonna immediately respect me.
no, it's the number one way to build rapport. I mean,
100%.
clients will go, I think, I'll be like, no, I want a camera here and one there. I go, now, why would we do, it's got a 145-degree field of view. One in that corner is going to get the whole room. And look, everything we do is retrofittable. Defer to my professional opinion when we're talking about saving money. Because
Right.
if you want to come back, we can always come back and add a
Right.
second camera. And so our goal is that the stuff that you get from us, you actually are using it every day. And if that's not going to be the situation, don't get it.
Yeah.
And if you're not sure, then let's do it in a room, a place. Let's fall in love with it. Let's call us back.
Right.
Because the two big no-nos in what we do is that it's truly a word-of-mouth game. And somebody comes over, they say, what's that? You go, it's cool, it's awesome, I love it.
Call Jake.
The cursed thing never works. That's a big no-no.
Yeah.
Obviously, we do our jobs right. We do same-day support. So that's the number one reason that somebody with a tank ends up calling us. Tank, you can't work on it yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it's so complicated, so many wires. So they called their tank technician, and they never show up. And after 2 or 3 weeks or months going by, they say, to hell with it. You know, maybe this kid, maybe this company can help me.
Yeah.
And having the situation where we take people from tanks to cars are always my favorite installs because I say it all the time. They're like a girl that got cheated on. Their expectations are so low. Like you open the door and you get them flowers and they go, oh my God,
I've never seen flowers.
I've never seen, yeah, this is the most amazing thing ever. And they're used to stuff not working. They're used to people not answering the phone and coming to service the equipment. And they'll call me and they'll be like, Jake, man, I just want to tell you, this is awesome. You're the greatest person ever. I'll go, why? And they'll go, because the TV still turns on. It's been 2 weeks since you've been here. So that's the metric that we're looking for is just the TV
Low
turns
barrier
on
for
every
entry
time.
there.
Yeah, low barrier. My favorite kind of clients. Yeah. But then the other big no-no in word of mouth is somebody comes over and it's not that thing doesn't work. They go, what's that? You say, it's cool. Hell, it even works. I just don't use it. Never want that being said to a customer. Never want that being said.
Thought I
And
needed it.
Which is why you sell them on things they really need, because you don't want them to say that.
that's the goal. That's the goal. And that the one thing that we can't retrofit are in-ceiling speakers where we don't have access. I mean, pretty much everything else in our product line is retrofittable. That being said, you are going to save money if you're doing it in new construction because it's a little bit easier. Pull the wire when the
How many
insulation ain't there.
technicians do you have, or what's your team look like?
So we've got a 7-person team right now. We've got 4 full-time techs, dispatch, Catherine Moss, our head of sales, and then my partner, David Cuevas, who is my brother from another mother. He is, if I'm the talker, he's the doer. We're a great team.
Every talker needs a doer.
Indeed. And we met freshman year, biomed. My dad talks me out of med school. I come back from Christmas and I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to do the med school thing anymore. And he's like, walk me through it. And I walk him through my dad's argument. He goes, hell, I don't think I'm going to do it anymore. So he goes and adds a different degree. He takes a 5th year. Lucky for me, David actually stayed a 6th year. Couldn't get enough of college. Dude just didn't want to hang up the hat.
Really?
Stays and gets an MBA. And that 1 year was enough time for me to like start Smart Homes, get it going, to be like, okay, this might actually be a real thing. And so I called Dave and said, hey, bud, I know you're qualified to make like $250,000, but what if we made like 30 grand and started a business, you know? And he said, well, you know.
Quite the pitch.
Yeah, quite the pitch. But for some reason, he both puts up with me and is still around. So he's been with me since the very beginning.
That's
and
awesome.
That's so cool.
I go and tell people that we're gonna like, yeah, no, we can definitely get that done. And then David's the meme back there of the like how we're gonna get it done.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So that's the number one way that we're growing right now is in commercial. Yeah, we're really kind of hitting our stride residentially where our reputation is solid and the builders know who we are and the nobody else is really pivoting from tanks to
I
cars.
bet the builders like the one-stop shop, that one call.
They do, they do. But the problem is both residentially and commercially,
Budget.
builders don't really give a hoot about what I do.
Right.
I'm
yeah.
not on the building plans. Low voltage
Right,
doesn't
yeah.
go on the plans.
I could totally see that being
And
an
it's
uphill battle.
it's an end user
not-
argument, dude. Like, oh, cool, you guarantee your quotes. It's not my money. You do same day service. It's not my house.
Well, and I mean, you know, just being honest, like it ain't really changing the price per square foot. Then,
No, it's
you know?
not. And I curse the fact that we don't appraise because I think that we
Yeah,
definitely
you're not-
should.
You're not showing up on an appraisal.
No, we do not appraise, but I would definitely make the argument
Right.
that we should. And I do think that in time, definitely in
Yeah.
my lifetime, building plans will start to have low voltage on them.
I agree with
It's
that.
going to be too important, particularly commercially, and that you're going to start these things will start appraising, particularly wiring and like fixtures to the home.
Well, and I know Hannah's going to ask this, but in a world of AI, I mean, and where
Mm-hmm.
all that's headed, I agree 100%. Like, there's not going to be a home that's not smart home.
Yeah, no, that's
the future.
I'm so excited for the things to come. Yeah, if I'm being honest,
What's the craziest thing you've put in the house? And then we're going to wrap up this episode.
Please.
And go into the second episode on a pointed deal. But I want
Mm-hmm.
to know, other than the doggy door,
Yeah,
what's the most random?
I mean,
you've done?
we've done all kinds because we really do. Like we tell clients, we'll work on pre-existing equipment. We do custom stuff, you know. So I mean, we've done all kinds of stuff. The thing that the coolest thing, and kind of circling back to the AI, is Google is our primary brand, and they've been releasing Gemini, which is their AI, like ChatGPT equivalent, into the Google Home environment. And just some of the stuff that you can do with that is
need that. I've been
crazy.
thinking about this.
The coolest thing is, and it's becoming a standard, is just AI search with cameras. So, you know, I had an incident. When did it happen? I got 12 cameras. I got a full day. It's going to take you forever to figure out when and what happened. With AI search and these Google cameras, you can literally be like, did Jake come to my house today?
Oh, wow.
And it'll say, yes, Jake came to your house at 11:32. He was there for 32 minutes. He left in a brown pickup truck, and it'll pull the clip up. And so like that's an example of like kind of mind-blowing stuff that literally
shoplifting on commercial.
Yeah, I mean all kinds of things like that 12 months ago even weren't doable.
Wasn't even. Yeah.
And that's probably
Changing so fast.
that's the biggest thing for me is when I started it, I thought, you know, we're going to do a construction home services business that I'll build up and then I'll sell it to a private equity firm like all these HVAC guys and electricians are doing. And then I'll become a sophisticated investor and call people like Paul, go buy some land, some places. And as the AI
dream.
stuff has been,
He's got his roadmap.
I got it.
You got it figured out.
As the AI stuff has been coming down the pipe, I'm realizing that this is probably more of a lifelong enterprise, that I really think there's always going to be a physical layer to that technology that
Right.
somebody needs to install or set up.
100%.
And so as we get more and more dependent on AI, I mean, hell, even if people are going to buy robots to be their maids, they're going to want to walk into a showroom.
Yeah.
And they're going to want to,
Especially in
which
the-
one do I
especially in
want?
the South. I
Hell,
mean,
I don't trust this. Is this thing going to kill me in the middle of the night? And you got to, you know, walk through and build. And there's a level of human touch point
Yeah.
that they want to see.
Yeah.
And so that the AI stuff and the emerging technologies has really transitioned in my mind from build it up, sell it, to build it up, become whole service, become what I think in my mind is the Chick-fil-A of IT, and then begin to franchise them. And that we do residential and commercial AI integration, that these are things that you don't know. And the more that the water's speeding up, I mean, that's half the reason people pay for us is there's 12 different smart home camera brands.
Yeah.
Which one do I want?
What do I do?
Right.
Yeah. And as more options and more technology comes out, it's going to be more and more appealing to people.
Well,
to
and it's
say,
moving so fast. I mean, you yourself are drinking out of a fire hose in regards to technology update. So the common person that is a staff accountant over here doing what
Yeah.
like they don't even
They don't even
know.
want to touch it.
They're
Like,
scared of getting taken advantage of.
Sure.
Of buying the tank
Sure.
instead of the car.
Yeah.
So like I think you're doing a very good job about a large part of your business being molded after just like a safe place. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
hey, Jake is a trustworthy, honest guy. He's not gonna upsell me because look, I have bought these audio equipment
Yeah.
systems and put them in cabins, and I know exactly what you're talking about. They take up half my closet, and
Yeah.
when it comes time for the party, I don't know how to get it on.
Yeah, see, like we
Call
tell
the
clients,
installer, it's
if you have a server rack in your house, you have a tank. We need a shelf. You know, if you've got a full standing server rack,
Yeah.
yeah, and like
So I could totally see where that would be, especially probably the older generation that just still don't even know what Chat GPT is.
sure,
Like they don't have a choice but to call you. So
And-
I think
that
you're
is
very unique.
they really think that it's a lot of the times, and I do appreciate it's a very favorable situation to be in with clients because the gap of understanding is so great.
Something
And
to
so,
think about.
like the Google cameras do facial recognition, and you can train them on who's who. So it'll say Jake's at your house or Paul's at your, and make your notifications more meaningful. And they'll be like, "You made these cameras facial recognition." If you want to believe that, yes, I programmed that. But they'll all the time they think that features and natures of the product are something that we're providing or that we're doing.
Dude, if you had like just a link that you could click that took you to a video, like if I'm a potential customer and it's like got your smiling nice face out there and you're just like walk you through the whole process, like I would think you'd have really easy conversion on that. Like
That's-
like hey, like I could give you the whole pitch, but just watch this video.
Yeah.
It's gonna break it down for you. And that way I don't embarrass you in front of your spouse about what you don't even know.
Yeah.
I had to tell you, half of my job is, and I'm sure yours too. I mean, legitimately, I'm low key a marriage counselor out here. I mean, I'll be doing an assessment in a new house, and husband will go, "All right, we're gonna put an 85-inch TV on the wall," and the wife will immediately go, "The hell we are."
Huh?
And then they'll
like
be
we're putting a
bickering just
painting
right
there.
there. And
Right.
yeah, and I bought you this house. I'm gonna do what I want with this room. And then they'll turn, and I'm like a divorced child, and they go,
What do you think?
"Yeah, what do
Jake?
you think? Pick a team.
Pick,
Yeah,
which
pick a
side you
team.
gonna
Which
be
one
on?
of us is right?"
Yeah, which one of y'all hold
I
the
always go,
checkbook?
"Well, if you're trying to, if you're trying to
Why don't
expand
you
the
just
viewing
get his
angle,
and her TV?
yeah." I always try and do a give and a take. I mean, if you were trying to make it where you could really see from the kitchen, then it makes more sense to do the bigger TV. But it is a really nice space, and if we're trying to preserve the aesthetic, you probably do want to do a
Look at
smaller
you.
TV.
There you
Yeah,
go.
no, I try not to pick a team in the divorce shop.
Yeah,
but
y'all are both in marriage counseling on the side.
Oh,
for
my
sure,
goodness.
with
Or-
your businesses.
or during the teaching, and like whether it's husband or wife, we're teaching. We always do like a white glove handoff, right? I do all of them. We're gonna assign you in, walk you through, answer your questions. We do
Yeah.
a follow up visit, and we're doing the teaching. I'm setting it up on your phone, and then answer your question, and then she'll ask the same thing, and they'll go like, "Are you not paying attention? I don't have all this time." And I'm like, "Hey man, we just got to walk through it with her, you know?" And they're like, "That's fine. Just teach me and I'll show her later. You know, we ain't got time for
We ain't
this."
got time.
And I'm like, "Sir, I got plenty of time."
Goodness.
Oh man, that's good stuff. All right, let's pause. We'll wrap this. Be the end of episode 1, and then we'll jump back in. I've got to go blow my nose. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I can't-
Hey, do it over there.
Man.
Yeah. On that note, thank you for entering
Absolutely.
Smart Homes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Such an incredible business that you've built, and we'll dig into this more on episode 2.
Awesome.
Sounds good.